Hey guys, it's Dan from Boys, Bears, and Scares. Tonight I am going to introduce my blog. I did a blog about one gay director named Richard Griffin. Richard Griffin does a lot of low-budget B movies that have like that kind of raunchy, depraved, think about movies in the 80s, like direct-to-VHS movies like Redneck Zombies and, you know, those like biker chicks from hell type movies. There was a bunch of them coming out on VHS when I worked at a video store in the 80s. And he does a lot of that kind of stuff. You know, if you have that kind of sleazy taste in horror flicks, a lot of his movies are like that. But I'm going to go through them all because he's actually done a lot of variety of different types of movies. So we're going to start with Creature from the Hillbilly Lagoon. This is the creature from the Black Lagoon if it was nasty. This one has it all. It's got nudity, it's got gay guys who like fisting, it's got the big rubber monster that comes out of the water, so this is a goodie. I love this one. This is a fun one. Then we have Atomic Brain Invasion. Now this, you know, immediately change in tone here. He's does all raunchy stuff, but this is like a PG movie. This is it kicks back to like 50s sci-fi horror films, and it's about these aliens that have brains for heads, and they are looking to kidnap Elvis Presley. So the kids, who all love Elvis Presley, while their parents are, you know, trying to protest rock and roll, they're going to save the king of rock and roll from these aliens. This is if you're into that old school sci-fi feel, that's what that is. These are two of my favorites. They both got the word disco. You can't go wrong. So they got the word disco in the title. Splatter Disco. This is a sex club slasher. This movie is twisted. It's got musical numbers. There's a new wave musical number. This is just, I love this film. This is, and whatever your sexual tastes, whatever you're into, you'll see it in here. This is a real goodie. Slasher taken to total skanky nastiness. So this is a good one. I love Splatter Disco. And then I also love the Disco Exorcist. Disco Exorcist is like the John Holmes story with a demon. So we got this guy, he's going to the disco every night, he's a stud, and he gets to do porn. You know, they pick him out to do porn, and unfortunately he dumps this chick, and she doesn't take it too lightly, so she raises hell. She becomes a demon. So she shows up, there's gore, there's nudity like crazy. This is like, half of this movie is a porn. So at the end, the Exorcist comes, and this guy who plays the Exorcist, he's totally awesome. He like steals the show. So the Exorcist comes in, and things get all demonic and Linda Blairish with sex. And then we go on to the next two. So these two are on the same DVD. We got the Beyond the Dunwich Horror and Pretty Dead Things. Now, Beyond the Dunwich Horror, this is more, again, this is a more serious tone of Richard's. It has some of his dark humor and twisted sex and that kind of thing, but this is like, you know what the Dunwich Horror is? This is Lovecraft. This is Richard's take on Lovecraft. It's satanic cults, rituals, all that kind of stuff. So this is a very different feel, a darker film for Richard. Then we'll go on to, oh wait, I didn't do Pretty Dead Things. That's one of my favorites. Pretty Dead Things. It's one of my favorites. This is Richard's, I would say this is Richard's gay horror movie. This is, I'm going to put this in the gay horror movie photo album on Boys, Bears, and Scares because, you know, it's about a bunch of vampires, but one of them, the lead vampire, the guy is so friggin' hot. I love him. He's in a couple of other horror movies, but the other big vampire, he's a campy, queeny vampire, and there's no apologies about his sexuality here, and the story is strongly about him. So this is really a gay horror movie as far as I'm concerned. It's got straight sex in it too, but this is a Pretty Dead Things. That's the one, and it's twisted, and it's got some nasty. I'm thinking back, it's got some nasty stuff in it. Good stuff. So then, Richard did. It's like a trio of flesh-eating zombie movies. So this is there's 4 movies in this DVD. This is the cover of the original Feeding the Masses DVD is used. Feeding the Masses is Richard's first horror movie. It's shot very low budget on video, 15 days I think it took or something. And this is like his political satire, social commentary film. It's actually a lot of dialogue in this one. The zombie action is kind of like back there at all times. But near the end, Richard's true colors come out, and the zombie action comes forward, and there is a twisted scene in a peep show. This hunky-dory army guy has a very, very bizarre, sick fetish, and he just has fun. ooh, the guy is great. And he also happens to star in the next film, Raving Maniacs. He's the lead in this one too. He's a yummy, yummy man. And Raving Maniacs, this came out around the time of Return of the Living Dead, Rave to the Grave. They were going to call this Rave to the Grave. They had to change the name because of the other movie. So Raving Maniacs, you go to a rave to dance, take a drug, you get horny for flesh. That's the way to put it. You want sex and you want to eat flesh. So this is another really, really twisted Richard movie. I love this one. That's Raven. And then what was the other one? Oh, there's another zombie film on this disc. This is Necroville is on here as well. Necroville is like Clerks meets Shaun of the Dead. It's a buddy horror comedy about these two guys that work at a video store. They got to get better jobs. I mean, you just got to get a better job eventually. I had to. I used to work at a video store for like 10 years. They get a job hunting zombies and werewolves and vampires and all that good stuff. So that's another goodie. And then finally, this is completely different from Richard. This is a serious horror movie. This is Richard's art piece, I would say. Apparently this is getting really great reviews, and he does it in black and white, and it's a throwback to like a 60s atmosphere and feel of like the scariest films of the 60s. Like, this is serious stuff here. Very dark and dreadful atmosphere, and it's about a family that they're stuck in this boarding house. We don't know why. They're very twisted, all of them. They all have their own individual weirdness. There's mannequins. You can never go wrong with mannequins. And so they have tenants come in, and things never turn out good for the tenants. It's not a good place to be for the tenants. There's a scene by the end of the movie. There's this man who comes in to have some fun with a couple of the girls who live there, and ooh, he's a nice-looking guy. Wow, Richard, where did you find this guy, man? He's got, even though the movie's in black and white, you can see he's got a nice head of silver hair. And he and the Hammer don't get along well. There's a Hammer scene in here that just brings me back to Texas Chainsaw, where you're getting hit with the hammer, but you're not dying. And we, as the audience, feel the whole thing. Very disturbing scene. This is completely different movie for Richard. Very dark. So that's it. That's all of Richard's movies. Whatever your taste is, he's got a little bit of everything there. He's got there's zombie movies, slashers, these darker occult movies, the campy, the 50s throwback sci-fi. He's done it all. So check out Richard's movie. His gay characters, he's unapologetic about the gay characters as well. The sexuality, unforgiving about that. He doesn't, he doesn't hold back. It's crazy stuff. And the gore, it's great. Thank you, Richard. Keep making your movies.